So welcome to Boxing Media Hub, sponsored by Falcon Contracting, and we are in partnership with Jam's Boxing Chat. Thank you very much for joining us on a beautiful Sunday. I could do this every Sunday, to be perfectly honest. So I've got Jam, as always, my favourite armchair. We've got Horkan, the boxing encyclopedia. We've got Neutral, the boy who fights his corner every single time. We've got Darren. Darren, you look really suave today. Clearly in Benidorm.
I
and
wish.
I wouldn't, mate. And Harrison, handsome devil. It's moved on from you, Darren. Harrison's taken that one.
Thought you were talking about
SWS.
me.
SWS.
Last week it was me.
Yeah, but that was last week. Sam at SWS Boxing, big up the lads. And do you know what? Can I just say, we were treated. We were absolutely treated yesterday to a cracking card. Should we do sort of the honorary mentions first? Let's look at some of the fights yesterday. Last night was a win for boxing. Cheers. Drinking Fury's tears in, says Chris. And Hail from Women's Boxing Channel. Big shout out to you. Make sure you subscribe to them as well.
They do some fantastic stuff.
Yeah, great work by those guys. So let's quickly, if I get the pronunciation right, Kabayel.
Frank Sanchez.
What a performance against Frank Sanchez. These two unbeaten fighters going at it. Frank looked an absolute tank. I'm not going to lie. That guy looked an absolute unit yesterday. I'd say Kabayel defines the odds again. Unbelievable performance yesterday. Does anyone want to jump in and say anything? I was impressed against Makhmudov, but that yesterday was just all out. Didn't give him a chance to have a breather. Just kept that constant attack. Really impressed with Kabayel yesterday. Absolutely fantastic, and has put himself in a brilliant position, hasn't he, Jam?
He really has, Major. Honestly, I'm so impressed with Agit Kabayel. The way he took care of Frank Sanchez. No one believed me when I told him he'd do this. Nobody believed me. Honestly, everyone I told, no, Frank Sanchez, too skillful, Cuban, too slick, not going to do it. I told you he'd do it. Me and Neutral and Harrison done the watch along. It was an absolute masterclass beatdown from Agit Kabayel. Yeah. I was so impressed, mate, and I think he can go on to big things. The only problem I have with him is very static. Against a mover like Usyk or someone in that sort of range, he'll get found out very quick.
Yeah, he doesn't move the head very much. Frank was quite flat-footed yesterday, so he kind of made himself that bit. He just sort of stood there where Kabayel coming forward, he was really being intense, kept the pressure on. You look like you enjoyed it, Neutral.
It was a brilliant fight. It just goes to show how intelligent the Kabayel is. The first fight against Makhmudov, he let Makhmudov come on to him, and bang, bang, bang. And this fight, totally different. On the front foot, pressure all through the fight against the very muscular Frank Sanchez. I've never seen him that well built. His shoulders were out here.
Yeah, it was massive, wasn't he?
That's right. And I mentioned it before the fight started last. I've never seen him so fit, looking. But, on hindsight now, I think that mass of muscle he put on brought him into a whole new world of lactic acid in between rounds 4 and the stoppage.
Yeah. No, it was fantastic. And Chris has just jumped in. Kabayel, knuckle style, coming forward style, impressing me. Sanchez on the ropes a lot and got bandage on his knee. Kabayel keeps impressing me, and I really like the Parker fight next. Now, that would be a cracker, to be fair. They've both leaps and bounds, these two guys. quite an intriguing one, to be honest. Anyone else want to chip into that one before we move on?
Yeah,
I can chip in on.
Oh, go on, Håkan.
Sorry.
Go on, you.
Go on then, Håkan.
I've been following Agit Kabayel for a long time, and I was impressed with him when he beat Derek Chisora in Monte Carlo a couple of years. I can't remember, but is it 6-7 years ago? But after that fight, hasn't Kabayel faced so many top opposition? And he before the Makhmudov fight, he had been not being active that much and facing lesser opponents. And for a few years ago, Kabayel was ordered by the EBU to face Otto Wallin in 2019, but that fight fell through when Joe Gamache, Otto Wallin's head coach, were attacked in central New York on his way to the gym. So Otto Wallin didn't want to have that fight against Kabayel. I would love to see that fight at that time, but sadly the fight fell through. So what he has done, come back with those 2 wins now, Makhmudov and Sanchez, is very impressive for me.
Definitely.
No, definitely. And Darren, what did you want to chuck in there, mate?
I was just going to say, I've rated Kabayel for a long time now, like since his Derek Chisora win in Monte Carlo all them years ago. I just don't think he had his big break that he's needed, like the Saudis have gave him. I actually backed him to beat Makhmudov, but I had it on points, and I actually backed him to beat Sanchez on points, and obviously I lost both of them because he won by stoppage. For me, I fancied Kabayel for the reason Sanchez, for me, he's very lazy in fights. I've watched him against Efia Jagba, Junior Farr. He doesn't overexert himself, and he'll literally stand and wait before he can land one shot. If he's got to throw 3 shots around, he'll just throw the 3. He won't overexert himself, and that's why I fancied Kabayel to outwork him, because he's the busier fighter than what Sanchez is, and I always fancied Kabayel to outwork him and be the busier fighter, and that's why I thought he'd win on points. But he's starting to actually show Kabayel, especially his body shots. He's got a fair bit of power behind him as well. I rate him, and for me, I would like to see something like the Joseph Parker fight next. I think it'd be a very, very good fight.
Yeah.
And I think he's definitely up there, just under, in the top mix of them all. Definitely.
I put him in the top 5-6 heavyweight rankings.
Yeah, I think you've got to. I agree, mate.
Definitely.
Yeah. No, definitely.
He's a 24-0 fighter, so yeah, you've got to put him up there, haven't you?
Yeah, he's pretty, and like you say, the Saudis have now given him the platform, and he's taken full advantage of it.
That's what he's needed. He's been fighting. He's been fighting in places like Germany and that, where he hasn't really, he's been fighting like the likes of Rudenko and people like that, and Kevin Johnson. Obviously the Saudis have seen something in him and give him his break, and I tell you what, hats off to him. Like Joseph Parker, he's took full advantage of it.
Yeah.
And his promoter, SES Boxing, has gone down in level in Germany. They had good shows 3-4 years ago, but his promoter is based in Magdeburg, and they had, like I said, a few good shows 3-4 years ago, but their shows has gone down in level.
Yeah.
Harrison, do you want to chuck in your 10 pence?
Yeah, well, I'd actually suggest, just on Darren's comments, I don't think any fighter in this last year of Saudi fights has taken advantage of that platform more than Agit Kabayel. That's now 2 massive wins against 2 of the top 15 heavyweights in the world, and he's won both of those fights incredibly convincingly. Last night, he got into the fight. He was really aggressive from the offset, but he didn't step off the pedal much, really. He was really constantly on Sanchez. He didn't allow for that Cuban style of defense to interfere with his game plan. He's a real danger now at heavyweight. There's going to be a lot of people avoiding him. I know there's a lot of shouts there for the Joseph Parker fight, but they're really good friends, so I don't know if that happens next.
No, I don't think so.
What about SWS Boxers put Joe Joyce?
Joyce works. Joyce definitely works, yeah.
Kabayel beats Joyce. Kabayel's too much for Joyce.
But I think that's a cracking name on your resume, isn't it?
Deontay Wilder's a better one for me. Get Deontay in there. At least he moves a bit. See what he can do. Target.
I was just going to say, do you remember a couple of years ago when Joshua fought Jermaine Franklin? There was talking about Agit Kabayel, and loads of people, particularly on social media, what's Joshua fighting that bum for and everything. I tell you what, they think different now.
Oh yeah,
100%.
I think that fight sounds even better now. Joshua versus Kabayel. I'd love to see that fight. I think it'd be a great fight.
Fighting on Friday on the Zone.
Why not?
Yeah.
Franklin's fighting Friday on the Zone.
Oh, Franklin.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Well, when Joshua faced Robert Helenius, who jumped in late, Kabayel was asked, but I think he demanded too much money.
Yeah, and he wanted more time as well, apparently. He wanted a bit more time or something and a bit more money.
Yeah.
He's getting that money now, that's for sure.
Yeah, and he deserves it. Doing the business, they beat Akhmedov the way he did, and now smacking out this geezer, Frank Sanchez, undefeated 24-0. He deserves a big payday now.
Mm-hmm. This is it.
I hope he gets it because he's a true fighting man, not like John Fury, a real fighting man.
Oh, here we go. King Oles has turned around. Hi, lads. I am feeling very after last night, but we will get to that. Next one, boys. Joe Cordina versus Cacace. Now, I was blown away by this. I'm not going to lie. I was obviously watching it around my mate's house, and I was going, Joe Cordina. This was the fight that was going to set him up for the big one next. This was going to be the fight to sort of push him on, wasn't it, to the next big payday. How wrong were we, guys?
Sorry to interrupt you, Joel, mate. Let's be honest. Cordina should never have moved down from lightweight. He should never have been back at 130. He looked cooked at the weight. He looked drained.
Honestly,
I said it.
The weigh-in.
The
weigh-in was dreadful, Jam. He looked awful at the weigh-in.
He looks so thin and gaunt. I said, he's in trouble here, man. He looks like he's really struggling. And someone said to me, I think it was, what's his name? Benson. Someone Benson who's always online, the boxing guy.
Michael Benson.
Yeah, he messaged me back. Well, not messaged me, commented back saying, he always looks like that, but he'll balloon up by the fight night. He'll be fine. I said, no, he looks gone this time. He looks too fit.
Yeah. When they took off the outfit ready to fight in the ring, he just looked like a bag of bones. Exactly. It genuinely. It is what it is. But let's be honest, it wasn't that. Cacace just had his number. He was phenomenal yesterday. I think we've got to give credit where credit's due. Cacace's game plan.
Cacace was fantastic. But let's be honest, though, lads. If that was up at 135, do you think he'd have stood up to them punches from Cacace? He's not a known puncher. Do you think he'd have hurt him if it was at his natural weight? Because I don't. For me, just based on what I saw yesterday, I just thought Cacace was spot on. From 135.
Yeah, I think we have to pull a lot of praise on Anthony Cacace's performance last night. I know Joe Cordina looked
100%.
really slim and small, but then I want to, I'm fed up of doing that with fighters going, he shouldn't have done this. He shouldn't.
He did.
He deserves the praise, and he got it spot on. He was aggressive from the start. He was fantastic, really accurate, dead shot punches last night. He's going to be a good player now at 130 pounds, and Joe Cordina's future obviously is going to be up at lightweight. But credit to Cacace, he was great last night.
There was the bizarre part. Sorry, there was the bizarre part in the fight, wasn't there, where the ref, broke them.
Yes,
said break, but there was a shot that went,
cracked him right,
and I tell you that shot rung Cordina, but. That wasn't the one. It was the one after that was an absolute bell ringer, and his legs just he was just brutal, but he took his chance. This is when I revert back to say Usyk Dubois. We talk about whether it was low or whatever, but he took his chance. You take the advantage, and he took the advantage, and Cacace was spot on when he neutral. Absolutely spot on.
Well, Cacace was that dominant, really. I was actually, like I said, I'm taking absolutely nothing away from any like Anthony Cacace, but the way Joe Cordina was, I was beginning to wonder whether he was carrying some kind of injury or something. The way he was looking, but I haven't heard anything.
For me,
I haven't heard anything about it or nothing like
Frank
that. But
Sanchez was though on the knee. Frank Sanchez had a dodgy knee. Apparently, that's why he couldn't move about like he normally does. Apparently,
yeah,
you don't move about that much anyway.
But if you can't fight though, don't fight. If you can't go into that fight thinking you can't win that fight, don't fight.
What do you like?
It's that simple. Delay it
in Nottingham.
What's that?
What about Cacace against Lee Wood in Nottingham?
That'd be a cracking fight.
Brutal fight. Won't go the distance.
No.
Lee Wood will clean.
But I'll tell you what made me laugh with Anthony Cacace about how he said he loves fighting in Saudi and he definitely wants to fight there next. I wonder why.
Yeah, big paydays.
Well,
that's
do you blame him though? As I say,
it looks like he will be facing his mandatory next.
Yeah, they said that was going to be the plan, didn't they?
Yeah.
What about a rematch? Isn't there'll be a rematch? No,
because Cordina
off the mandatory, I think.
He's too tight at the weight. I don't think he can make the weight again. I genuinely don't think Joe Cordina can make a 130 again. I really don't. I think
he's got to be sensible, isn't he?
You got to remember, he came down in weight. You know what I mean? Normally you move up in weight as you become a champion. He came down from 135.
Yeah.
That's just silly in my eyes. He's just left himself open to this type of thing happening. You know what I mean?
And I'm the same as Sam at SWS Boxing. I wrote Cacace off big time, and I genuinely did. I thought Joe Cordina was going to school it. I just thought he would. But as Neutral's been nodding the whole time, I want to hear Neutral. He's Cacace, you were so impressed, weren't you, mate?
Oh, very much so. He done a flash Ashley.
Yeah,
35 years of age.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You know,
Neutral.
And he last chance saloon, and he took it. But I detest making excuses for boxers. I really do. I hate doing that. But as Jams knows and Harrison, I said before that fight, I wasn't happy at the weigh-in with him, his condition, as Cacace as well. The both of them look like a bag of bones.
Yeah.
So then for me, that he's not fighting at the correct weight. I thought that would have a bearing on the fight, and it did, because Cacace's not known for being a knockout merchant. I know he's got 8 out of his total, but it would suggest that a man like Cordina would go the distance at least.
Yeah.
So for me, I think he was a wee bit of lack of water that took away his punch resistance, and he paid the price. He should go back to 135. And it's a hot division, I know, but you know, proof's in the metal. Get to the metal.
Then
you know, you've got to go there and and run the gauntlet.
Yeah, hats off to both of them. Hats off to both of them. It was it was another one of those fights on the card that people couldn't call. They genuinely couldn't call. And these are the fights that we're loving at the moment by Saudi. Rolling on to the next one, I'm going to give this one straight to Harrison because I know he likes this one. Opetaia Briedis 2. Mm-hmm. Now, I know people could look at it and go, oh, it wasn't the same as the first fight. It wasn't. But let's be honest. If I was going into that one after having my jaw broken in 2 places, and you knew you were going in against a very difficult operator like Briedis, and this is for me, he's your biggest challenge. This could be controversial now in the cruiserweight division. Mm-hmm. Would you not sort of play it safe, do what you do, and get a win?
Well, knowing all of that, you have to go in there with a sense of heightened caution. It doesn't matter that Mairis Briedis has been out of the ring for 2 years. Prior to that, he was the cruiserweight to beat. He was the man who nobody wanted to face in the post-Usyk era when he moved up to heavyweight. But Jai Opetaia took that chance 2 years ago, was in an epic battle with him. This time round, a lot of people had Opetaia well clear of him, including myself, and a lot of people predicted early stoppages, mid stoppages. But we have, again, to give a lot of credit here to Mairis Briedis, because he boxed very well at stages last night. It wasn't for a second win in that fight, but he had Opetaia troubled in the deeper rounds. He really made Opetaia get himself into focus and to just straighten himself out to see this fight through. But then that kind of just shows the professionalism of Jai Opetaia. He looked again last night like a pound-for-pound superstar, in my opinion. The way he's improved over the last year, when he beat Jordan Thompson at London and then out El Zorro in Saudi, he's just continually improved, and he looks a completely different fighter to the first fight. I've loved his style, his professionalism. There's just something about him that kind of scares me. Like, you feel like he's going to punch you through the TV. He's that type of character. There is just something about him where he's really engaging to watch. I think he's great for boxing. And last night, again, brilliant against a really good operator in Briedis, who's got a good future at cruiserweight as well.
I like what you say there, Harrison, with Briedis, in the fact that that guy caused him issues in the last 3-4 rounds. And he did it in the last fight as well. He comes on strong. It's experience. It's hard graft. You've just got it built into you. He's 39 now, I think. Unbelievable endurance when you're against a young lad coming through that's going to cause you issues, especially after the first fight as well. He could have come into that thinking, well, this lad had my number last time. I've got to, have my wits about me. And I thought it was a great fight. Did I feel let down? Slightly, because my prediction was totally wrong, but it generally is. But I think that's just how it is, isn't it? It was a difficult fight that Opetaia boxed really well in, and we saw a different side. And I think he just goes up again. We're just going to see levels now. Darren, you're nodding from wherever you are.
I thought it was a good. Well, I thought it was a decent fight. I mean, it was a bit of a different one to the first one. The first one, the fights of the year, was really good to watch. This one was a little bit more sort of like slower paced than that. Briedis grew into the fight more nearer to the end. But I think what you've got to do with Opetaia, I agree with Harrison, looks an absolute superb fighter. But from what he's been doing with the El Zorros and the Jordan Thompsons, to knocking them out like a few rounds, job done. Obviously, he stepped up to Briedis again. He's done a very good job, got a points win. But obviously, the levels of knocking out what he's been knocking out to what he's had to do this fight again, it just tells you about, sometimes you have got to keep a little bit level-headed where we all get a bit ahead of ourselves. Oh, he's going to stop Briedis in 4 rounds, 5 rounds. You can get a little bit carried away with who these guys are fighting and knocking them out in a few rounds. So when they actually step up against the big guns, and they have a bit more of a difficult time with them.
Yeah. And I think King Oles has said it quite well there, I think, with Briedis. I hope he doesn't retire. I want to see him go out on a win. The only problem is you win, you want to keep going. I think that's the difficulty in it. Boxers don't know when to stop, and it's a case of stopping when the time is right. And even if he stopped after this one, there's no shame in losing to Jai, especially after being out the ring that long. Like you were saying, Harrison, you've got to know when the right time is there. And he still looked in incredible shape as well. It's there's some interesting ones here. I hope Jai fights the winner of Billam Smith and Riakpur next. That'd be a cracker. Jai beats them both, says Sam. King Oles, if Opetaia moves up to heavyweight, how far do you guys think he can go? I don't think he's there yet, but I think if he does, I think the heavyweight division is very different when he gets there, because you think all the guys that are there now will probably be retired or gone.
AJ will be gone.
Yeah. So he could go in and do. I mean, do
well. I think people are amazed by the resilience of Mairis Briedis last night.
Yeah.
Anybody else in that cruiserweight division under them circumstances and the extreme pressure that Jai Opetaia was putting Briedis under from rounds 1 to 9, would have been on the deck.
Yeah.
Briedis, what I took from him last night was stamina, endurance, a chin, and sheer, willpower to stay on his feet.
Mm.
After a 2-year layoff and fighting the same man, I just can't tip my hat enough to Mairis Briedis. So there's no way he's going to retire now after that performance.
Yeah.
He's good for it. He's still got more to give.
The thing is, though, like with Briedis, like what made people also think about, like, Opetaia could put a demolition job on here. Like he was at one point, he was talking about fighting the Jake Pauls and things like that. But when you actually see what he's got left, you're like,
I'd fear for Jake Paul
in the pro game where he is.
He'd murder Jake Paul. He 100%. Would murder him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he needs to carry on with his career, really, because he's still got.
He get arrested as soon as he got out of the ring.
GBH.
The only thing you've got the only thing you'd have to worry about. The only thing you'd have to worry about is at 39, when you've been in the wars that he's been in, because he's been in some. Let's not argue with that one. You've got to think, how long do you go before?
I can answer that.
Go on, neutral.
He's Latvian.
They're built tough from Riga, mate.
But do you know what I mean? You because it
they
only
don't
takes
do
one shot, doesn't
they
it?
They don't do self-pity. They don't do, I've lost. What am I going to do, mate? When's my next fight? Get me back in there.
He'll be out in 6 months.
It's the same with the Ukrainians.
Yeah.
I fear. I put a tweet out there today. I fear for David Benavidez against Gvozdyk, considering the run that the Ukrainians are under right now. It's phenomenal.
Lomachenko, Baranchuk, bloody Usyk, they're all killing it, mate. And they're winning these world
titles. 3 in a week.
Yeah.
They're built as something different.
Can I just say, by the way, what a win for Baranchuk last night against Navarrete.
Yeah, huge.
What a win. He dominated that 12-round fight.
Yeah,
honestly.
He spoiled a lot of bets, put it that way.
I love the fact that we'll come to him in a second, but Usyk was sat there with his team watching that fight. Now that shows you the difference in mentality.
Camaraderie.
A lot of people would have gone straight out celebrating and all the rest of it. He's there with his team watching his fellow countrymen. That just shows levels.
The lad who John Fury nutted, did you see him walk up to the side of the ring and spit all over Fury during his interview?
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, disgusting.
Was that the same lad?
He walked up
and told him off.
Battle fluid all over him.
Well, I thought he was just trying to cool down. Usyk was spitting in his face.
Yeah, they reckon that's what they do, because there was another boxer.
It is. I've seen it before.
Saying that's what they do. They spray water over their boxer to cool him down.
Yeah, but he done it out his mouth though.
He done it out his mouth.
Yeah, he does. Apparently, that's what they do.
Like that, right out of the chocolate.
Apparently, it's what they do.
His jaw, you know what I mean? What the fuck?
Eastern Europeans are built different. What can we say?
True that.
Mixture of cultures. Do you know what? I'm spit away.
Before we move on, Joel, to the main, I was just going to say on the Jai fight, one judge gave it 117, 111, the other two 116, 112. Where did that judge get the 117, 111, and how did the other two see it so different?
Jam.
That's only a round difference.
I think we say this every week.
117, 111, 116, 112. It's a big difference.
Yeah.
4 rounds difference. Jai dominated.
One round difference.
One round.
Thank you, Hakan. Don't argue with Hakan.
One round difference.
You'll get skewed.
Yeah.
It's 1 round.
So I think the judges was they scored it 9384, I think.
116, 112.
Yeah.
116,
There's only one round.
8475, I think.
Oh, I've got it wrote down as 117, 111 on one judge, and then 116, 112. So
That's still only one round, though.
Yeah, it's only one round.
Oh, you mean between the cards?
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you meant one round between the fighters. I'm just saying, though, like, Jai won, for me, 10 rounds of the 12 minimum. You know what I mean? I just don't get how they got the 112s. That's what I'm saying.
Do you know what? I've had a bad day with these scorecards and, you know, adding them up and that. So
it's confusing.
Just let
You're staying out of
explain
it.
Yeah. I'm staying right out of it.
Hey, can I get back to Mairis Briedis?
Of course you can.
Maybe Zurdo Ramirez could be a fight for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I rather think that's going to be Opetaia next for unification.
Yeah, they mentioned that last night, didn't they, on the show? I actually seen that.
They mentioned the unification, the winner, Dylan Smith versus Riakpo.
Oh, it could be that. Yeah, you know, it's either or.
Yeah, tricky fight to make that though, Chris Bilden-Smith.
Yeah, especially a boxer.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens on that one. But Carl is jumping in just at the right moment as we're about to go to. Hello, Carl.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a few pleasantries first, Joe, before you start asking me for my opinion. Come on.
We're on the Fury. About to go to the Fury one, mate. About to go to the Fury.
Good time.
We're about to go Fury Usyk. Carl, lovely to see you. Kick us off, mate.
Yeah, so I know I was very vocal on that spell about Fury taking him out in the 7th. And if I'm honest with you, for a little bit of the 4, 5, and 6, I thought I might be in with a shout of it.
Row 5.
What I'd say is, I've got to be honest, I'm a big Tyson Fury fan, but, you know, he seems to take his foot off the pedal and is more intent on showboating rather than maybe getting the job done. So,
majorly last night, mate. Majorly.
From round 4. From round 4.
I'll be honest, he looked like a fighter on the slide a little bit, if I'm being brutally honest. I don't think he could have done any more. Usyk just put his foot down, and I've never seen Tyson Fury bounce around the ring like that in round 9.
Incredible.
So, does he take the rematch? I don't know. Sitting here now, I don't think it's a given.
I don't. Yeah.
No. So I come away with a sense of disappointment with Fury. And another thing, Joe. Another thing. What was his corner all about? You had John Fury starting up.
Yeah.
See, for me.
Andy Lee's battle, and you can see Sugar Hill was trying to get his message across, and he was getting frustrated because
I agree.
For me, John shouldn't have been there. I think Andy.
Joel, the equivalent of having John Fury in your corner is like having you present on a YouTube channel.
It's horrendous, mate. It's horrendous. I quite agree with you, but you know, especially when you've come on with. You know, your hat on with boss written on it. I just bow. Do you know what I mean? But
you should, Joel. As an Arsenal fan, you used to come in second, so you know what I mean.
Well, coming seconds works sometimes, mate.
Carl, can I ask Carl a question very quickly?
Go for it, mate.
Can you take me through your feelings through round 9?
Well, I'll be honest with you. It should have been stopped. It was a very slow count as well, but he should have been stopped. You know, he still wasn't with it in round 10. Let's have it right. He didn't know where he was. So I think he was given a bit of grace by the referee, really, because many other fights would have been stopped.
Absolutely. 8 seconds to go. The referee, he's still standing. If he was to stop Usyk, Fury, and give him a standing 8 count, because the ropes had saved him. He should have gone back to the initial time the ropes had saved him, about 30 seconds before that.
Yeah.
To make that call.
Let's not make it complicated. He should have just waved the fight off.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm about to get to. Instead, what he done with 8 seconds to go, instead of waving the fight off, saying, right, you've bounced off the ropes 5 times now, that's you done. He's given him a standing 8 count so the bell could go. Yeah. I mean,
But it is
That's a big boot. That's a
Me-
massive mistake by the
If
referee.
it was the other way round, it would have been
Oh,
stopped.
they're called.
Oh,
Bouncing off the ropes, and they called it there and then.
And that's not me saying in the, you know, I think anyone else, I think the fight would have been stopped. Not just, it just had that feeling about it. But do you know what? All I will say is hats off to Fury for coming back out after that and finding his feet and getting back in. What a chin. Because
what a chin.
Like Carl said,
he was from
I'll get there, mate. He was pinging. He was pinging him round. And I'll tell you, when you saw him go back to that corner, he did not know where he was. He came out after the knockout from Wilder.
I did say, though, on the show last week, whenever I was in that lovely part of North London, I did say, though, that I was concerned about his weight because obviously he looked a bit light for me, and the first thing that tends to go is punch resistance.
Yeah.
But also the referee made a mistake. Is, do you know, Fury went 30 seconds of unable to answer Usyk's onslaught. 30 seconds he took of punishment. That's a long time, and the referee broke the rules in that sense. He should never have let unanswered punches go 30 seconds.
There was none at all.
Darren, can I just say first of all, I got the prediction absolutely bang on. I said Usyk split when it happened.
Is that all you wanted to say?
No, I've got a lot more to say. Probably more to call that one. I scored the fight.
Wow, Darren, take a bow. You got one right, Darren. Why don't you do a lap of honor while you're on camera?
Go run around the garden.
Go on, mate. Go and run around the garden.
Do a Klinsman dive.
Well, I actually scored the fight.
Klinsman.
I actually scored the fight 115-112 to Usyk. But it was the end of it was the 8th round for me, a bit of the turning point where Fury got cut on the eye, and he was squinting and he was wary of it. And then the 9th round happened, and I think that was a bit of a turning point. But for me, the first 3 rounds, Usyk won them. Then Fury come back and won 3 or 4. And then Usyk took over from me. And then apart from that, I think Fury might have won the last round. But I agree with Carl about the corner. I mean, you had all 3. You had Andy Lee, Sugar Hill, and then you had his dad, all 3 of them in Tyson's ear. And what were they thinking at the end of round 10 when they sent him out for round 11? I think it was Andy Lee, which I'm shocked at, turned round and says, "You've got 2 rounds here and you've won the fight." What fight was he watching? Like, I don't know.
But to be fair,
they kept saying you're winning. You're winning too.
Yeah, I don't understand that. But I watched the post-fight presser after the fight, and Tyson Fury actually said in the post-fight press conference,
"If I'd have wanted to, I'd have stopped him because they told me."
He said if my corner would have told me at the end of round 11, you need a knockout to win the fight. He said I'd have gone for the knockout. Everyone was telling him he was winning the fight.
Yeah, they
not good
corner work. Winning comfortably.
But that doesn't. Yeah, it's easy to say for Tyson Fury.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Shouting over them both times. That's what it is. You had Andy Lee.
You can't tell me that Tyson Fury wasn't looking to knock him out at any point in that 12 rounds.
Yeah, 100%. The way he came out in that 12, he shot out to try and, but he couldn't. He
always finds a way, Usyk. He always finds a way, Usyk does, and he's the type of guy for me. He's a born winner. He always finds a way to get the win. And after the 3rd round, he went. He lost the next 4, and you start to think like, is Tyson taking over? Is he going to dominate the fight from here? But Usyk again, cut the eye of Fury, come back. He's superb. He's brilliant.
I've got to be serious now, mate. Usyk is pound for pound #1 in the world. I think it's Usyk in the way, then Bud. Usyk now has proven he is pound for pound #1 in the world.
I'm disappointed with Fury, but is it a case that he's just not good enough to do it?
I think age has caught up with him and his lifestyle over the years.
Could be.
Has caught up with him.
Quite neutral. Might have took a bit more out of him than we thought it did.
I think Wilder took a part away from Fury that he was unaware of. Yes.
But don't you think the Wilder fights could have also flattered Fury a little bit? I mean, let's be honest.
100%.
Brilliant wins, brilliant 2 wins, and the first fight he actually won, which they gave a draw. And he, convincing the second, the ones after that. But let's be honest, he beat a one-trick pony. He didn't beat a brilliant boxer in Wilder. Everyone got hyped about it.
The third was an
absolute brilliant fight.
Yeah,
everyone got overhyped about him with Fury after that.
It's a decent one trick though, doesn't it? It's a decent one trick if he lands on you.
I totally agree. And let's be honest, if he lands on anybody, probably apart from Fury, he puts them out. But I think for me, it flattered him a little bit with the fights that he won against Wilder. Everyone got overhyped about him, saying he was going to do this to Usyk. Usyk's too small. Whereas, let's be honest, we've never seen Fury hurt as badly as he was yesterday. I've never seen him hurt as bad like that. He's been dropped, but I've never seen him. What's that, sorry?
I think he was too light, Daz. I think he was too light.
I'm right with you,
mate, yeah.
Even so, you had Usyk coming in at 221. He had a 41-pound difference.
Yeah.
51-pound difference, because 262. Yeah. Oh, sorry, it is 41. And he, on a pound-for-pound basis, do you think £10 on Tyson Fury made any difference? If he come in at 272, he would have been even slower.
What I don't get is that in fights gone by, John Fury's been very critical, especially in the Ben Davison era when he dropped all that weight and he kept calling him.
I agree.
He hates them. He hates them.
Yeah, last night it was in and around the same sort of weight, and he was praising the regime.
I mean, you had John Fury in the corner shouting over Sugar Hill Stewart and Andy Lee saying, "Use the jab, we're fighting men."
That's all he said.
I should have said, "Get to fuck you, get out of my ring."
Yeah.
That's what I'd have said, mate. To got him out the corner because he showed.
That's the thing
for me. As he
did. Is Tyson going to get rid of him though? I
think he has to. If he wants to be successful, he's got to get. He needs to tell Daddy to take a back step.
I think we're looking at the Chris Eubank situation where it was
got popped off.
Yeah, Dad was interfering too much.
A lot of trainers, didn't he? He rattled through a lot of that period, like Adam Booth, etc. Adam Booth couldn't work in that scenario, could he?
What a trainer Adam Booth is as well. Absolute fantastic trainer.
But
if he can't work, no one can.
Here we go. Chris, Usyk still wants to fight on, but he's done everything and completed everything. No need for him to have a rematch. Only need rematch clause for losing was with Fury.
There's about 100 million reasons why he might want to jump in again, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Usyk won it easily and clearly for Chris. I'm really glad Usyk humbled Fury and his fans. John Fury kept saying every round you're winning, while Sugar Hill couldn't get his opinion. Should have kept John away from the corner. Tyson Fury on slight decline for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm with Carl though in the sense that if that was the lightest you've come in, every time Usyk almost fought a heavyweight, he said you've got to use your weight advantage and your reach. And then he's changed his weight to sort of come in to try and move a bit more. But what he should have done was stuck to what he's always been good at. Smother, make it difficult, use your weight. And don't get me wrong, Usyk would have danced around you. But
in the early rounds, Joel. So in the early rounds, them shots were bouncing off Fury, weren't they, in the early rounds?
I was going to say.
What I would have liked to see him done is the old Kronk style, seek and destroy.
Yeah, just try and knock him out.
Because let's have it right, he ain't going to beat Usyk over 12 rounds, so he needs to get him out of there. So
but is he going to get picked off though? Is he going to get picked off?
I think in the rematch, he should come in a little bit heavier and then not mess around, seek and destroy it like the Kronk gym style. Go for the knockout.
He done that against Wilder, but let's be honest, it's totally different kettle of fish. They're doing that against Usyk. I know he's a lot smaller, and I get what you're saying, but
technically,
I still don't know if he'd be able to do that against Usyk.
I agree, but I'm just thinking he can take one to give one because Usyk ain't gonna. I know he had him bouncing around the ring in the 9th, but it took him 9 rounds to get him there, right? in the first few rounds, Fury was handling his power okay, wasn't he? Let's have it right. It was showboating all the arm behind the back and all that crap. So I think that's the only way you can win. To go in.
No, if Fury was to rewatch round 5, the secret to beating Usyk was in there. Because during that commentary that I did for my channel, Usyk was getting picked off with the jab and the uppercut. If you go and rewatch round 5, he was having so much success with that.
Landed a lot. Yeah.
And I had him 4-2 up after 6 rounds, Fury. Then after round 6, going into round 7, it changed. Fury took his foot off the pedal. Round 8, he got his nose busted. The blood was smearing over his face. Yeah. He had his nose popped, and that was the game changer. Round 8. Round 9 wouldn't have happened without round 8.
Neutral, what was the key to round 5? He pushed him back, right? He was fighting on the front foot.
He was doing everything right. He was getting the jab through. He was going through the guard, and then he was coming up the uppercut. He stunned Usyk in round 5. He hurt him bad.
He took a hell of a shot.
So I can't really accept that weight was a problem here, because Fury had the blueprint at round 5. He just didn't take it on.
Yeah, I think when he hurt,
the reason why I'm saying the weight is because of his punch resistance neutral. You've never seen Fury bounce around the ring like that.
Oh yeah, Wilder first fight.
But look at different in punches between Wilder and Usyk. Let's have it right.
Yeah, but he's not that same fighter from 2018, is he? He's not the same fighter.
He's never the punch that Wilder is either.
Yeah,
so
he lands more.
It's a combination of the two things. Let's not look at the way. If you look at Usyk's stoppages and the way he knocks them out, Usyk is an accumulation of power punching. He doesn't just throw single shots. He throws combination, and they're the ones when they're hitting in 3s and 4s. Although they're not knockout punches, they are stunning punches, and that's what you saw with Fury last night.
It never bothered him. Round 1 to 5, did it? Never bothered him. And
he's never been hit. He's never been hit like that before.
I think it's the way, as he went down the straight in terms of 9, 10, I think the weight took effect.
Harrison, what did you think, mate? What did you think? Do you think the weight played an advantage? Do you think it played a disadvantage? How did you see it, mate?
I spoke about it quite a lot in the build-up, and it was just such a significant thing that we were all looking at. How much of an effect was it going to have? I felt at times during the fight it did help Fury to be a little bit more lenient on his feet. But then the problem was he wasn't utilizing his old strengths as much as he used to. When we did the watch-along, me and you were talking quite a bit about how Fury was lacking that smothering, as Joel said, that ability to put your pressure on the man. And when you've got a volume puncher like Oleksandr Usyk, it's so important that you really take away his strengths. All of you talk there about how Tyson Fury should have done X, Y, and Z, which is fair enough. But we're also forgetting that last night we watched one of the all-time great boxing performances from Oleksandr Usyk. 100%. He did everything he could have in the 12 rounds. He was at times stunned and wobbled in that 5th and 6th round, but he controlled the early part of the fight well. He found his momentum and his gears again down the stretch. He virtually had Tyson Fury knocked out. We said American judges have a leniency that I noticed quite a bit. The counts are longer. They're a bit more willing to let you get back into a fight. I think a lot of British judges would have stopped that fight right there and then. I'm glad it wasn't, obviously, because we got to see it.
You mean referee?
Referee, sorry, not judges.
Yeah. And
I'm glad that it did play out, because in the end, Fury had a great 12th round, and it was close. Same as Darren, I scored at 15-12. I didn't hate a 14-13. The only thing, and I'm so glad, because of the way boxing is, I'm so glad that no one has said Fury won that fight. That no one in the entire boxing space.
I think Cal Brooks said he had Fury winning the fight, or I saw a headline anyway about he thought Cal Brooks was winning or winning.
Cal Brooks had Fury 1, 2, 3 by 2 to 3 rounds.
Okay,
Cal Brooks is still suffering from fighting Golovkin.
Yeah.
I think I'm still suffering from watching Kelbert fighting Golovkin.
Can I get in, Joel?
Yeah.
Regarding the scores, if I'm not wrong, when one round 10-8, we couldn't see a draw in this fight. So 6-6 for even is 113 for Usyk.
Yeah.
And 7-9 for Fury, 113 Fury. So draw was impossible in my opinion.
If Usyk hadn't scored the knockdown, it would have been a majority draw because 2 judges would have had it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that would have caused a lot of controversy.
First judge had it the right sense and gave it Usyk by 3 rounds.
Because you'd have had Team Usyk lodging complaints about the referee. He shouldn't have stopped. He should have stopped the fight. Instead, he's let him recover, get to the end of the round. He's then had a full minute to recover, and lo and behold, he goes the distance.
Yeah. Well,
read them.
You know what?
Did you ever read Daz's comment, Joel? Did you ever read Daz's comment? Daz Medgar's comment.
Yeah. We put it up on the screen. Bear with me.
It's all right, mate. I can't read it because I've got sunglasses on and it's all dark.
Tyson's Corner, awful, one voice. And fact that John Fury was in there, he shouldn't have been there, in my opinion. Talking was shocking, and Andy Lee should know better. If I was Sugar, I'd be fuming.
I agree with that.
But what I will say, before we sort of round it all up, rematch. Now, from the press conference, I'm the same as Carl. You always come out, when you finish the fight, if you've gone to 12 rounds, your endorphins are going, all the rest of it, you're going to turn around and go, rematch, yeah, I'm going to be in there. In the press conference, he was very much, look, I'm going to sit down with my family, I'll sit down with Frank, and I'll see what the best thing is to do. I'm going to have that time away. I'm going to go to the tip, which I thought was fantastic. And I'm going to do all those things. And I thought, because now it's dawning on him in that sense. You have got that 1L. Don't get me wrong. It can give you the opportunity to come back and be even better, but it dawns on you. So we'll go round just quickly. Jam, rematch, yes or no? What's your thoughts, mate?
Yes, mate. And I think Fury beats him in a rematch.
Harrison?
I think there will be a rematch, but I'm really interested to see how the IBF situation plays out first because it's not going to be undisputed next time. If they go straight back into a rematch in October, Hrgovic and Dubois is going to have the IBF. So I think it will happen. I just don't think it'll happen straight away.
Cool. Carl?
Yeah, rematch in October. Fury won't be able to leave it like that, in my opinion. But the IBF will be long gone, Harrison, as you mentioned. So, I believe if Fury comes in at optimum weight, he's got a chance. But I'll be honest, it's some hell of a fighter, this Usyk. I underestimated him. I don't mind going on record saying that.
Fair play.
So I'm not so sure Fury beats him in the rematch. I think he might be Fury's kryptonite.
Yeah. Neutral?
Yes, that's the reason, Carl, that I'm going to say what I'm going to say next. No rematch. I think Fury retires for a wee while. Usyk will lose his title, and the belt sagas will move on. From the point of in the ring saying, yeah, we'll do it in October 31st, and then going out of the ring and revised his whole situation at the press conference, that's a man that's just had reality check. And that was what I saw in that press conference. That was the real Tyson Fury talking. And and being sensible. So for me, I think he's done what he can do. I think Fury, as Carl said, is a step too far now to recover. By the time I fight that in October, he'll be nearing 37. He's going to be even, plus the mindset as well. He took a big loss. He took a bit of a beating. So who knows? But I don't think there'll be a rematch.
Darren?
Well, for all Fury's bluster of it is what it is. I come here, I get paid, I get laid, and all that, what he says. You know, he says all that, but deep down, you know, this is an absolute sickener for him. He won't want to go out like that. He won't want to end his career on a defeat, and I think he will try and avenge that defeat. But like Carl said, I think that Usyk will beat him again because I think he'll find a way to beat him, just like he was AJ's bogeyman. I think he'll be Fury's bogeyman, and I think Oleksandr Usyk will retire undefeated.
Yeah. And that's another reason it probably couldn't happen as well.
Tell you what, lads, let me ask one quick question. If he does, is he the best of all time?
Statistically,
you've got to look
yes.
at eras, I think.
I mean, in boxing in general, is he the best? He undisputed cruiser.
It's a matter of opinion. It's a matter of opinion, but statistically,
can you name anyone better?
Well,
a better heavyweight, yes.
Oh no, I mean like a better resume, like undisputed at cruiser.
That's what I mean.
He's undisputed now at heavyweight. Can you
statistically, yes, he's the greatest.
He hasn't had that many fights, really, though.
Who else has done it better?
No, but what they'll say is he's done 2 times undisputed within 22 fights, and that's what will be the outstanding aspect.
That's the historical thing.
Yeah.
But as the best heavyweight of all time,
he's a world-class operator. I've got nothing but love and respect for Oleksandr Usyk. For me, he is one of the greatest of all time. This was his proof.
Yeah, it's a strange one.
Against Fury, that was his proving point, and he's proved it. He's proved he is the best.
He said the other day about well, he said the other day that he could actually fight for another 3 years. So if he stands by that and he does go on, you know, he'll get another few fights. But there's nobody apart from Tyson Fury. I mean, he's beat AJ. Who really else apart from Fury can you see that will have a chance against Usyk? There isn't anybody.
He's got that Terence Crawford effect now.
I'd take Jai Opetaia up at heavy to give him a challenge. Whether he beats him or not, it's a different story. But
would be a good fight. I agree with that.
But I think by the
Jai
time
Opetaia's got like 25 pound on. Yeah.
By the time Jai comes up,
strapping down.
And I think Usyk's retired by the time Jai comes up.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
And I don't think Usyk is that silly.
In the heyday.
Yeah. But
and I don't want to hear talk about Wilder or anyone against Usyk. Usyk will run rings round Deontay Wilder. He won't even get close.
It'd be a mismatch, mate. It'd be a mismatch. He would clean his clock in a couple of rounds.
Hawkan, what's your thoughts? Rematch, yes or no?
I think what I want is that no rematch, but I think it will be a rematch.
Okay.
I want the belt to be spread apart.
Make it a bit more interesting up in the.
What be interesting is it took Tyson to get Tyson in the ring. Oleksandr, what was it, 2 years to get him in the ring?
Yeah.
Let's see how long it takes for the rematch.
Why not go AJ versus Tyson at Wembley with the winner takes
Usyk? Now you're talking.
To be fair, though,
now you're talking.
I think that it makes sense now. It makes more sense than ever now.
Yes.
So, and it should be titled. The headline is Usyk's leftovers.
And that fight doesn't need any belt either.
No, exactly. You could just have
it's
Battle of
PPV
Britain.
heaven.
You know what I mean?
Heaven, isn't it?
Battle of Britain, isn't it? So
yeah, Battle of Britain.
How would you call that one at the minute? Because they're both, we don't know what AJ is, we don't know what Fury is anymore.
Yeah.
Toss the coin on that one.
Yeah, 100%. I don't like rematches.
I think AJ's
fights. It will happen.
Yeah, I think AJ will hold the belt next.
More convincing. Pam has said Usyk, the GOAT. Chris has put, is Usyk pound for pound number one? 100% at the moment, mate. 100%.
I'd put him away now.
Gutted for Harry Scarf. We've just got some other info. Gutted for Harry Scarf on Friday in IBF World Final Eliminator. Bossed round one. Then 2, 3, 4, and 5 could have gone either way, but possibly 3, 4.
Yeah,
Scarf.
Just too strong for him, mate.
Being a lad from Nottingham and he's from Derby, he'll get over it.
Fair play.
So, yeah, Women's Boxing Channel giving us the insight there. Thank you very much.
Oh, he broke his rib. He broke his rib.
Yeah.
Rib in round 6.
But this is it. And we'll end on this one. SWS Boxing, do you all feel? Very feel. Do you know what? Do you know the thing I loved? The thing I loved at the press conference was when he reeled off, I missed my daughter's birth, I missed the birthdays, I missed all those things. And you know, this goes right back to missing his dad's passing as well.
Sacrifice.
He's a very likeable guy, Joel. He's a great advocate for boxing. Let's have it right. He's a great flag bearer.
I think that's the thing.
The only reason I want him to lose this fight is because he's in with a Brit.
Exactly. Me, mate. I wanted to back the Brit. And when Usyk went in the ring, did you hear him say, "Dad, I hope you're proud of me. Please watch over me." And he done a cross. That mean, honestly, I nearly welted up, mate. I couldn't believe it.
I know emotions are running high as well, but I thought it was a bit out of order. Fury saying he thought the judges gave it him because of the war.
I thought that were a pinch of salt, Dad. If I'm honest.
Yeah, I know emotions are running high, but I just think that was a bit of a stupid thing to say.
Yeah, it's a coward's move.
Let's be honest, it's not the first stupid thing he's come out with. It probably won't be the last. It's Fury at what Fury does. The thing that wound me up more than anything was the in-ring antics of, you know, the showboating when you're only in round 4 and you think, well, actually, this is the undisputed fight, mate. If you want this, you've got to own it before you even come into close to doing that sort of thing. That's with 5-10 seconds to go around 12, and you know you've won.
Dominating a fight, not when you're getting beat up. You know what I mean? Getting thrown up and beat up and then start dancing around like you're winning. It was embarrassing. I hated that from Fury. I've never seen him do that at that stage of a fight, and it was embarrassing.
Not to that degree either. I haven't seen it to that degree.
Such a high-level opponent. If he'd done that against Wilder knocked him out.
Joe, can I just raise something with you separate to Fury versus Usyk? I've not looked at the reel yet, but what's this nonsense where you put in Carl Froch dodged Joe Calzaghe? I've not looked at the reel, but I thought you might give me a highlight here because what nonsense you talking about.
No. It wasn't my comment. It was a comment that was made by someone else. And it just made me, because to be fair, I don't think he dodged him. It's more of a case of someone passed the comment and I thought, that's very intriguing. I want to know what other people...
If anyone dodged anyone in that scenario, it was Joe Calzaghe dodging Carl Froch. That was the truth.
You got a bit red there, Joel.
What's that? Oh, never, mate.
You got a bit red there.
I only saw the clickbait headline, Joe, and I thought, what is he talking about here? So I thought next time I'll raise it.
No, he said how.
Do you think Carl Froch would have beaten Joe?
Yes.
No, I don't. But that's my opinion.
Yeah,
I think Calzaghe would have won the fight myself, but Carl Froch would have had a go, and he certainly didn't.
No, I'm in the minority here, but what I think would have happened, Joe Calzaghe was a slapper. Let's be honest. I don't think he would have kept Carl Froch off. I'm not being biased from Nottingham, well, maybe a little bit. But I believe that Carl Froch would have cut the ring off, and he would have knocked Joe Calzaghe out. There you go.
Calzaghe boxed his head off.
Seen it. Carl Froch is my absolute hero, mate. Him and Ricky Hatton are my boys, mate. They're my two favourites.
Carl, thank you very much, as always. Not watching the short, but bringing it up in here anyway. Very much appreciated, mate.
I'd have to care enough to watch it, pal. I'll be really honest with you.
At least give it honestly.
But your headline got my attention, so well done on the clickbait headline.
Thank you very much, mate. That's what it's all about.
Get the Jake Paul ones out, son.
No, you're right. That's a step too far, isn't it?
But honestly, lads, I think, as I say, I speak for all of us. we were spoiled yesterday. Cracking.
Great show.
And I think the big shout out does go to, although Usyk, don't get me wrong, what he's done and achieved, unbelievable. But the shout outs really, Cacace, big shout out to him. What a performance. And Kabayel, the unbelievable performances from those two guys. They have just put themselves back on Saudi cards, in my point of view.
And can I give a special shout out to Mark Chamberlain for a fantastic performance?
I don't mind you recording this, Joel. Kabayel will not win a world title, or a meaningful world title in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, he's
there we go.
He's a bit one-dimensional.
On such a positive note from Carl, as always, thank you very much, Jam. Thank you very much, Harrison. Carl, you're a star as always, mate. Neutral, thank you very much. Darren in Benidorm and Håkan all the way from Sweden. Thank you very much, boys. As always, hit the subscribe button and check out the rest of the content and watch a short if you want to, because they are there to be watched. So thank you very much, everyone. And I'll see you soon. Jam, lead us out, mate.
Have some of this.
Have it. Take care, boys. Thank you.
And you, brother.